Community mental health.
Community mental health, and at the end of the program, along the way, we'll have website information. We're at www.sccmha.org. If you go to our website, you can view the video as streaming video, and you don't have to download it. Back in the old days of computers, people would sit and they'd have to download something overnight to put it on your computer. Now you can just view it as streaming video. You can go to our website, click on 1 in 5 anti-stigma activities. It will take you to a page where you can view either a shortened 15-minute version or the full 30-minute version. And it's also been available, it's been seen on local television, and if people would like a copy, we have copies available for people for a small fee, about $10 if you want your own copy for your own school, church, organization. We've had solicitations through email and phone calls from not just around the state, but as Ms. Lindsay said before, we're receiving emails from Indiana, Minnesota, Washington, D.C. People go online and they type anti-stigma in, and if they go deep enough, they eventually find our package and contact us.
So tell me some more about the reaction that you've seen from people in our community and other communities to the AIRD program, if you would.
There's been a lot of terrific reaction, on a personal level. Whenever people see you, it's always nice when people say, my parents said they would get called up at 10 o'clock at night, people waking them up saying, we saw your son on television tonight. So on a personal level, that's nice. As a professional person working in the mental health field, it's impressive when people come up and they talk about how they've got a family member and something that they've seen in the program has influenced them. It might not be something as drastic as a person is sitting at home undergoing suicidal depression and they see this and it saves their life. That's a very rare thing. What we're looking for is the smaller victories of, it might be that someone has a grandchild that is struggling with severe depression. And maybe because of the age difference, because of growing up in a different generation, it was nothing that they had any understanding of and experience with, and this program gave them a different way to look at it. It might be something as simple as that, because the battle of overcoming stigma isn't just the idea of bringing people to services that might be ashamed or not want somebody to get services. That's certainly a part of it, but it's also a matter of reaching in and changing the hearts and minds of people and viewing mental illness as a lot of people have a difficulty with the idea of things like alcoholism being treated as an illness, or mental illness being treated as something when a lot of people don't say. You can say that it's like diabetes, what people will say, but it's not diabetes. Well, it's similar in the circumstance that I am nearsighted. If I didn't have glasses, I wouldn't be able to function, couldn't drive a car, couldn't go to work, couldn't read, and these are miracle devices. If people could just see their medication and their counseling as being like a pair of glasses and taking a person who wouldn't be able to function and allowing them to function, there's just something that's just a little bit different. And we're moving down the road, but there's so much further to go because it involves the brain, because it involves behavior, because there's very much behavior that's associated with it. That now some behavior that brings stigma is understandable. When we see stories about people acting out and stories in the news, that's one face that's on mental illness. But there's the majority of it is people that are struggling. The statistic that is in the program is that people with mental illness are more often the victims of crimes because they're so vulnerable. And that's a very important thing. Obviously, that resonated with you.
Yes, it did when I saw the program.
To let people know that instead of seeing people as something to be feared because you don't know what might happen, understanding these are people that are struggling and in many cases are the most vulnerable people in our society.
By the way, as we're inviting people to watch this, watch the program, watch 1 in 5, what would you tell them is the take-home message, or a message that they ought to be aware of when they watch it?
Primarily, get help. Don't be afraid to get help. That's one of the things that we really drove home at the end of the program, was that there are many people, myself included. I was, the first time when I had somebody mention the diagnosis of manic depression, it was called at the time, as opposed to bipolar disorder, was back in '88, and I had a very bad experience, and I wanted nothing to do with counseling, with medication, and I stayed away from it for a long time. And I was fine, I struggled, but I got myself back together, but it came back around again in another period of stress. So the idea of the fact of being aware that not only that there is help available, but that you can get help, you can put your life back together again, and you don't have to feel like you're going to go through life with a big scarlet letter of MI, that you're going to walk down the street. You're always going to have to deal with people that might treat you differently when they know this about you. But what we're looking at is the big picture and making small changes incrementally, so that maybe one of the saddest parts for me of looking at the video was when one person said that their own family members, would fight against them, and they were afraid to share things with them. Hopefully that's changing, and hopefully it'll get better with time. That's the primary message that I like, is the importance of people getting help and overcoming the fears that come.
You know, and in my life, I've had an aunt who had a schizophrenia, and an old girlfriend who had problems with being bipolar, and a sister who had problems. They're very common, and there are an awful lot of folks out there who need help, and a lot of folks out there, if you reach out, will give you some help. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. I want to thank you for coming to Lansing here and spending some time, and I'm grateful for you being here. And I think our people are too. Well, information on how to view 1 in 5, or how to take advantage of the many services that are available through the Saginaw Community Mental Health Department, they'll be on the screen following this program. I'm Roger Kahn. I thank you for joining us.